Welcome to my preview of the Quick Lane Bowl featuring Western Michigan going up against 8 Nevada, 8-4 Nevada, 7-5 Western Michigan. It's going to be Monday, December 27th. It's going to be 11 a.m. on ESPN, 11 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. So, storylines for this one. Nevada is in shambles, which is just, as a Boise State fan, is just too bad. Sorry, I hope I didn't lose any Nevada fans right there, but not sorry. So, Norvell, the coach for Nevada, he's gone. No Carson Strong, he's gone. All their other transfers are in doubt. Nevada right now is just going off the rails. Basically, the entire program, Norvell went to Colorado State, and basically the entire program, just all the players left and went to Colorado State. They're losing recruits. They're going to Colorado State. They're losing top players throughout the entire program going to Colorado State. I really am not tracking every single player that is leaving Nevada to go to Colorado State, but I know that there's a ton of them. I am tracking the players going to Colorado State. I'm not tracking necessarily who's going to be playing for the bowl game and who's not. Carson Strong making the decision. I might have just said he's going to Colorado State. I didn't mean that. Carson Strong making the decision with all the players transferring, everybody leaving, to skip the bowl game and start prepping for the NFL. And usually I'm against players skipping bowl games. I really am. But this is one of those very rare circumstances where I completely understand it. You're an NFL talent right here in Carson Strong. He really is one of the best quarterbacks in the Mountain West. And you're sitting here with your coach gone, most of your team transferring it out. You don't want to play for an interim coach in a bowl game matchup against a Western Michigan team that has been competent throughout the season when you don't even know who's going to be on the team for the bowl game. I completely, in this case, understand Carson Strong saying, that's it, I'm going to be moving on to bigger and greater things in the NFL. Everyone else, without this very specific circumstances, shame on you for skipping the bowl games if you're doing that. We just announcements that Michigan State's top running back is skipping the bowl game. So very anti it for everybody else, but this specific circumstance, I understand. That being said, Western Michigan is now favored. They weren't previously, but they are now favored in this one by 6 points by Vegas. ESPN always a little slower to catch up to what's going on with the programs as far as their prediction rating, which is based more off of the FPI, I think is what it is, Football Power Index. Anyhow, Nevada still favored in this one by 58.7%, but I think we will see that change closer to game time when they maybe update that a little bit. Series history, first ever meeting between these two teams. It's been a trend all bowl season. Record review. So for Western Michigan, I was pretty close. I was predicting 6-6, so was Athlon Sports. Ended up 7-5, just slightly better than we were projecting, but basically on line there. For Nevada, I was this close. I really was. They really shouldn't have lost the last game of the season. Last games of the season that they did end up losing there to, who was it? Air Force. They definitely had that in the bag. Overtime loss to Nevada. To Air Force. A good Air Force team. Air Force team that ended up 9-3. A team that I am a fan of. It's my third team. But I think that Nevada was the better team in that one. Air Force just playing strong enough. And you never know what's going to happen on any given Saturday, especially in the Mountain West where competition is so fierce. So in that one, they almost ended up with a 9-3 record, which is what I was projecting for them, getting to 8-4 instead. And they do have a win over my team, Boise State. 8-4 is what Athlon Sports was projecting. For Western Michigan, let's look at the Western Michigan here. Worst loss of the season, a 42-30 loss against Central Michigan, a team that Boise State is going to end up playing this year. But they have had a pretty good year overall. They came in here with a win against Pittsburgh, a 44-41 win against Pittsburgh. Of course, winners of the ACC. That was early on. At the time, it didn't look like that big of a win because Pittsburgh has traditionally been one of those lower to mid-level teams in the ACC. But that ended up being a massive win when Pittsburgh won the ACC at the end of the season. So this is a Western Michigan team that can get it done. They also, this is notable, they also beat Northern Illinois. So they have victories against two conference champions this season for Western Michigan. For Nevada, they've had some losses, of course, 4 losses throughout the season. They lost to Air Force, and then they also lost to Fresno State, San Diego State, and then Kansas State. But for me, the worst loss on those, the Fresno State, San Diego State, and Air Force games are all games that Nevada looked like they could win or were going to win and didn't. Kansas State, for me, is the worst loss. That might be one of the better teams that they played as far as status goes. Big 12 team there, Kansas State team that ended up bowl eligible. That might not look like such a bad loss, but it really was. When you watch that game Kansas State really overpowered Nevada, which I really wasn't expecting and shouldn't have happened. Fresno State, San Diego State, and Air Force are all teams that I think overall are better than Kansas State, and they played against them. I think that Nevada coming in maybe a little overawed with the Power 5 matchup, playing in a place that they're not used to playing, ended up getting outranked in that one. But really, I think Nevada should have played much better than that one. So that's going to be the worst loss for me this season, a 17-38 loss. Not only was it one of the larger numerically overall as far as point spread losses go, but it really was one of the more disappointing losses for Nevada, a game that I thought they should have played much better in. Best win, though, they have a win against a Power 5 team in Cal to start the season, 22-17, and then they have a win on the blue against Boise State. Tough place to go and win. They have a win against Boise State there, second half kind of not comeback, but they really piled it on the second half to be able to get that win. Tournament was a really close game in the first half to 41-31, 10-point win in the second half. So best players here, top players for Western Michigan is going to be the quarterback Caleb Ilaby, 3,115 yards passing, 21 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So he can air it out and he's accurate. That's going to be great, and he makes good decisions with the ball. For Nevada, now that they are without Carson Strong, and I'm not really sure exactly who is left on their team, but I do know that this player is, as of the making of this video, is going to play for Nevada. So I'm going to go with Tua. Sorry, switched the names there. The senior running back, 704 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns. Not necessarily a massive. Nevada has not been a run-based team. They've been very much of an air raid style team this season. But he's averaging 5.1 yards per carry. He's a large power back that can get it done on the ground, and he's going to be key to victory here. Without Carson Strong, with so many questions across the entire team, they're going to have to lean on this senior running back who's coming in playing in his last game, just wanting to get some success here to end the season. He is going to be their key to success in this matchup, and they're going to lean heavily onto him. As far as keys to the game, for Western Michigan, Nevada is in shambles right now. They have so many fresh players across the board. They have an interim head coach. This is a team that is not ready. They're not going to come in as prepared as they usually are, and they're not going to be as efficient or as they have been this season. They're not going to be as disciplined as they have been this season. So for Western Michigan, play up tempo and bring the blitz. Confuse and fluster a demoralized Nevada team that is reeling from the transfer portal and is really going through a rough patch right now. Come in here, come in fast, come up tempo so they can't adjust. If adjustments are going to be hard anyway, they're going to have fresh faces out there that are adjusting to new positions. Come in up tempo and then bring the blitz on defense to confuse the interim head coach here, to confuse the offensive scheme they bring out with new players starting positions that they're not used to starting this season. Come in fast and come in heavy. That's going to be key to Western Michigan. For Nevada, you've got to become trick play you. When you're coming in with so many missing pieces, when you're coming with an interim head coach, you got to basically become the trick play university, because you're not going to be able to win them doing your normal thing. You really aren't. So Nevada, if they're going to win this game, and I really don't think that it's likely at this point, but if they're going to win this game, they're going to have to empty out the playbook, become trick play university, do whatever they can to throw something different at Western Michigan so that they can maybe make up for, trick plays are a great evener. They can maybe make up for some of those key losses in key positions across the board. So my prediction on this one, unfortunately, I think Western Michigan is going to come in here and steamroll over a reeling Wolfpack. I really just don't think that they're going to end up being able to pull it off. If they can, it'll be the surprise game of the century. Definitely would be a surprise win, but I think that Western Michigan ends up. So Boise State Broncos might not have been able to take down Nevada, but maybe Western Michigan Broncos can go in and take them out for us. All right, so I'm calling for Western Michigan with a win and an over-under on the over-under. Thanks for watching this video. I'm previewing every single bowl game this season, so make sure you like, subscribe. As always, go Big Blue.